Welcome to Inside the Dojo. I'm your host, Willie the Bam Johnson, along with my lovely family, my wife, Kimberly Johnson, my son, Marco the Answer Johnson, and my two precious jewels, Messiah Johnson and Zarian Johnson, a part of our Dojo Kids crew. We're here to empower you, get you going, motivating you with the principles, concepts of martial arts as a lifestyle. Inside the Dojo. Just want to welcome, these are our black belt cycle people.
Okay.
So all of them are going through a 90-day black belt cycle, and this is a requirement for them to be able to go through their black belt. They got to go through a super fighter seminar, which we're doing today, and then after we do the seminar, they got to do what, a spar wars, right, and then a grapple war. So they're going through just like getting ready for their cycle. But I was kind of like giving them a little like intro on how me and you met through our full contact match where we was like trying to kill each other. And, I mean, but the beauty of what that did, it brought about such a great connection of a friendship, which is so genuine, where, you know, we can come together and connect and try to grow together. And I don't bring a lot of people in this school. So even when me and you connect, it's like, man, we can do some great things together. So I'm just honored to have you here amongst the students, and hopefully what we're doing today will lead into so many other things as we go into the future, especially with, you know, your system. You know,
what I'm gonna show you guys today is it's called the alpha system. The reason it's based on the alphabet is because it's based on lines, right? Whether they're lines of attack or lines of defense. Okay, lines from A to B. So instead of like learning like patterns or templates or all these movements that you may think like, oh man, that's a lot to remember, it's real simple. Okay, any attack is just based on the line, whether it's horizontal, straight, diagonal, curvy line. So based on that is what I'm going to teach today, based on that. Diagonal strikes, I will use the letter A for a diagonal down this way, right? Diagonal down, and then back to guard and cross the center. That's basically, if I was had a marker, then when I would draw this. So don't put the stick in your right hand. If you're righty, you can use your right hand. If lefty, you can use the left hand. But take your hand, right, and hold like if you had like a marker, you know, straight like this, right? And then, yeah, and then just go like this and go like that. Go like this and go like that, right? And you're just writing on a board. That's an A, right? If you take that in your hand, right, then it's the same thing. You can hold your fingers like this, like you had the marker in the beginning, just 1, 2, and 3, right? 1, 2, and 3. But if you lock that, right, now it becomes more like combative, right? Now I have my guard, I have a tight grip on the stick, I put my hands on guard here, and then I strike 1, 2, go to guard, and 3. Okay, the reason we go to guard is because we're just going left to right now. We can draw this A in many ways. We can go 1, 2, and then I can whip it back this way if I wanted to. I can go 1, 2, go to guard, and go this way. I can come up and then go this way because it's just a line. It's just a line. Okay, and then come back to guard, go this way. I can go up like this and bring it back and go this way. I can do multiple lines like this, multiple lines like this, and then multiple lines like that because I'm just following the lines of this A. So depending on my skill level, we can do multiple strikes, we could do twirling strikes, or we can just do, let's say, if I was at a more intermediate level where I have a blade, it would be the same thing. Okay, now I'm using the tip of the blade and I'm cutting, tip of the blade and I'm cutting, tip of the blade and I'm cutting, tip of the blade and I'm cutting. Okay, with the same lines that I'm using my attacks, they can also be my block. So if somebody was attacking here, I would block 1, I would block 2, and then on the center line from here, I would block here, 3. Because I'm just drawing the line from the top to bottom. So even though this is an A, and I go here, if I go this way, right, it's my same movement. Okay, and that could be my block. I can block this way, I can block this way. That's using these, what we call like wall blocks. Okay, so, but that's just to give you like a little example, right? Now, if I was at an advanced level and we're using like a blade movement, it's the same thing. These are my cuts. It's the same thing. These are my cuts. Just based on my knowledge of the tool that I'm using, I can use the same lines, right? Depending on your target range, depending on levels, or depending on specific targets. It could be like if the attack is coming forward, it could be the closest target to me, which would be the hand, or it could be a vital target if I enter and then I'm close. All right, and that would be like an example of to using with a knife, right? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to line up attack, right? We start with attacks first, and then we work on defense later. All right. So from here, our position for attention is like this, feet together. You can hold the stick evenly or 1 inch on each side. We want to hold it evenly because whether I go left or right side, I have the same distance, right? If I'm like this, then I will have more distance with my left than I would with my right. Not that I couldn't use the stick like this, right? But I want to be able to hold it like this so I can strike with either hand. All right. Now, our basic salutation is right leg out to the side, and then the stick comes to the center, and the left hand cups it right underneath like this. Okay. So we step like this, and then back, feet together. That's our basic salutation. Okay, a formal salutation, which will be due to like the highest ranking member or the instructor in the class, would be stepping forward, left knee on the ground, the back of the hand comes to the forehead like this, then you drop the stick down and you say monopole, that's like a sign of respect, and then you step back at attention, and then you do the regular salute. Alright, so let's do that one, let's try that one now. We'll step forward and bring the stick up, and then two, like this, and then we say monopole. Monopole, that means hands sir. Alright, and then step back, feet together, and then salute. Alright. Also, we have every class we start with warm-ups, calisthenics, to get the body, loose. And then we have drills, twirling drills, manipulation drills with the stick, just to develop general skill, right? But what we're going to start with today is our strike. So from here, we're going to take our right leg forward, and we're going to go almost like in a boxing guard like this, right? But we're going to bring that stick forward, okay? Because we want to have like the same guard as we have with our empty hands. So if I don't have my stick in my hand, then I put my hand like this. I can have the stick in my hand and still do the same type of guard. But as an extension, then I want to put that stick so it'll be a wedge between myself and the person in front of me. Okay? So from here, we're going to lift the stick up. You're going to keep this hand up and you're going to go down. That's your first line. 1. Okay, you bring it up to the other side, on the other shoulder, and then 2. Then you bring it to the center here, and then 3. Alright, so it's 1, 2, 3, and back to guard. 1, 2, 3, back to guard. 1, 2, 3, back to guard. 1, 2, 3, and that's your again. 1, 2, 3. If I was attention. If I was this is marking my targets, right? So if I'm striking Mr. Dillon here, I'll be striking maybe the temple, and then the temple, and then either elbow or ribs across the line. Okay. If I want to do a little A, it could be temple, temple, and then maybe across the neck there. If Mr. Dillon was on guard, right, and we're in a fighting position, maybe my strike is hand, 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 and I'm still making the same movement. I'm still doing this A movement, but now I'm just making it specific to targets. All right. If he was to strike 1 at me, the A, I block the same way. He strikes through the A, I block the same way. And when he strikes to the center, I block this way. So it'll be 1, 2, and I draw my line this way. So with the same movements, I can create attacks and defense. Okay? And then again, here I can do my first line A, and then boom, I can enter on that side. So it'll be a hand shot to a head shot, because I pick and choose the targets as they're available. All right? So again, with this basic system, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I can power it down, bring it back, and power it down. Or I can just be quick. Elias, how you doing, sir? Nice to meet you. Elias is going 1, 2. He's coming around and going 3. Who says he can't do that? You can do whatever you want, whenever you want, as long as you can do it. That's my motto. If you can't do it, then of course, right? But whatever it is, because you become, I give you the guidelines, so you can become creative with these letters, okay? So we can go here and come around and do this. We can go here, but here to guard. The reason I go to guard is for this. Usually my rule is a three strike rule. That means if I don't hit you on the first one, I may get you on the second one. If not, chances are I will get in on the third one. After that, I don't do a fourth or a fifth because that would leave me that much time or opportunity for the opponent to hit me. So if I'm hitting, every time I throw a punch, I'm open somewhere. Every time I swing the stick, I'm open somewhere. So if I keep swinging, he can just set up, look for an opening, and then capitalize on it. All right, so we have a three strike rule. Okay, if there are more moves, that is okay, but that's why we go to guard, for example. So if I go 1, 2, and I don't hit him, I go to guard, I reset, and then maybe I do the 3. That's when timing and beats become part of drawing your letters or doing your lines of attack. All right, so then timing and beats create the activity during the sparring match. Okay, so I can go 1, and I wait, I can go 2, I wait, and I can go 3. That's just pop, pop, pop. Or I can go pop, pop, and wait, and then go pop, 3. Okay? I can start with 3 and then 1, 2, because how I draw that A doesn't really matter. Because we're not really, in the end of the day, worried about the alphabet. We're just using it as a tool. What we're learning is lines of attack and defense. Okay?
Might get 1 or 2 that say they can't afford it, and I'm like, okay, if anything changes, just give us a call back. We used to try to wheel and deal and work things out for people. I don't do that anymore. And I'm gonna tell you why. Perella, they tell you don't even give a family discount. They tell you if a student calls and say, can they change their payment from the 5th to the 9th? No. This is the agreement we made. They said because what happens is if you make an exception, you gotta make another exception, another exception. You can't tell the next customer no. And then when they come in with something crazy, you're gonna be off that. The other reason they say don't give discounts is because sometimes your floor space is worth that dollar amount per square footage. So if I have one family member over here training for 159, the second family member is getting the same exact service, but it might be for 99. Now, we do family discounts because we attract families. And as a mom of several kids, I don't know if I would be able to afford top dollar for everything for my child if there wasn't a discount or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I do take that in consideration. However, we have upped our family discounts because I do feel like, okay, you are getting the same service, or et cetera, but there is still a slight discount there for them. But no matter what ad, fortunately for us, I need some wood because you probably about to jinx me, is we've been getting a good quality client. So that's what I'm getting ready to tell you. So you get the dollar in, you might get some Groupon people, but you know, kind of that mentality, the coupon people. But I used to think Groupon was bad, but they're teaching me it's not. It's how you work it, okay? So you get them in. You have 6 weeks to build up that client. So you have 6 weeks to prove to them who you are. You have 6 weeks to give them everything you got. If your service is that, they will find a way to afford it. That's the truth. Because there are things that I have my kids in that I'm like, whoo, you know, but I know it's good for them, and I need them to be into those things. So ultimately, it is our fault if they stay or go. Sometimes I would say a very small amount is like he was saying earlier, is the financial aspect of it. This day and age, you have 2 types of parents. You don't have in-between parents. You have that parent who don't give a crap. Their kids going to school hungry, half-dressed. They're the bully in the class, or they're the class clown, or they're the kid that's failing out. Then you have the parents that are so scared that they're doing everything they can to make sure that their kid survives what we all face in this society today. And so you have those 2 type of parents. And that's exactly what we get in here, one of the 2. We never get an in-between parent. And I'm going to tell you why. We pre-frame it that way. So when they come in, If they're a wishy-washy parent, we tell them what the commitment is. By the second class, we know if they're gonna sign or not. Most of our students sign on the first class, the first night. So this is what we do. They come in, they fill out this. You guys have an intake form, right? We call it orientation sheet. But what I did is I went back and I changed it. I want their Facebook information, I want their Instagram. Do they have a Snapchat? Do they have Twitter? I also let them know that they're gonna be in my MailChimp email group. So I went back just from the basic stuff and I added those things in there to pull in my social media stuff. So now when I'm doing their data entry, I go find their Facebook page, I make them my friend. Because who I am when I teach people here is who I am in my everyday life. If I tell my students that I am Master K, you don't see me on Facebook partying with a drink in my hand. That's just, I am who I say I am, in here and out of here. Because what happens is, that's what I'm selling. I'm selling you me.
He continues to open doors that elevate the opportunity for tomorrow's youth. This year, the Don Wilson Legacy Award goes to John Bell III.
But anyway, one of the happiest moments, actually, I've never had my name put on the award before. This is a very happy moment for me because now I know that my legacy will go on as a respectful thing for young kids coming up. And congratulations for winning the very first one. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for giving me this honor. Thank you.
This year's Don and Christine Bannon Rodriguez Legacy Award goes to Gavin, is this Choka? Coca.
Probably about 11 or 12 years coming here. Really excited that they're finally doing something with the kids. The future of our sport and the martial arts. It's great to see recognizing these kids. And all I can say is, truly, some of you guys, especially the little guy of the that just got an award. Let's see, great. Great. I mean, I started the same as Cynthia when I was 13, so many of you guys have such an advantage. You started so much earlier than we had.
All right, I just want to say thank you to my mom, Master Pia, my now stepdad, Master Perez. You guys have been a big help. I've been training since I was 3 years old. I'm now 13. And I love to teach. It's one of the things that's definitely made me grow as a martial artist. Natalie, she stands right alongside me. Isabella is one of my students. And I really enjoy it. I can definitely see myself competing in everything, definitely in the future. And thank you so much.
It says Reed, but it's not like habit. My lips just always say Grandmaster Junior.
She look like you done made rockets and she was like two. She look like she not even a little bit. Being on some chip, we go 0 to 100 real quick. Try to sell your work. I used to know I was still someone on the earth. Don't do it, we can do it on the turf. 360 with the rest, boy. Is what? You gotta play that last song they just played one more time. Yeah, all the OTV, I thought it made me richer. Wasn't paying me enough, I needed something quicker. So now I'm on the Nico basement, putting working on the phone. I don't even like that dance. You ready to put the last song back on? You gotta do that. Y'all be finding them songs. I can see y'all there with me. Everybody needs song. Hey, hot, I see her. Go ahead, get hype again. I like that move. Do it again. Yeah. Hey. Yeah. Okay, y'all. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. We like the yeah. Get 'em. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Hey.
Superstars floating around, so if we can't see you when we see you, we're gonna let them know that you in the house. Thank you.
Thank you for coming through it out. All right, look, we're ready to get started, grown folks. You ready? You ready? DJ, you ready? I know my timekeeper's ready. We having fun today. I don't even want to go to the party tonight. Come on. Oh yeah. There you go, baby. Come on. I need honey. That's what I like. Come on. Come on, Mr. Camus. Let's go, Ronnie. Come on. Come on. Turn up. 2 teams on the body slam. You better not stop. Get on that slide, boy. Let's start first. Let's see the weapons start.
Old school.
There you go. See, watch carefully.
I got it. Line up.
Let's go. There you go. Technique, fellas. Finish it. Kick with the follow on with the hands and a takedown. Take him down, take him down. You learned today. I'm just saying, if you set on each other, good takedown.
No human being on this planet got the strength to beat you down, or to take your heart, or to take your spirit. The only thing that can hurt you is you. Suck it up! There you go. go. Come on, one arm. It don't matter. Just do it. Get it out. Don't let it break you down.
The energy that comes off this guy is just phenomenal, and it's contagious.
When you come here, you leave behind everyday worries. You know, the frustration at work. Not every day is perfect, but when you come here, you know, you leave everything behind.
I mean, everyone has their own drama, but it's nice to get away from the 7 days a week that I have at home.
Well, it's not only about the physical stuff, it's also about how to defend yourself. It's about discipline and focus.
It gives me confidence and for myself to be strong and like to not back away from anything.
In life, something's always going to be happening. You're never going to have a clear path towards success. There's going to always be something coming towards you.
Once you change your attitude in life, things start to work, you know, in mysterious ways.
I feel strong, I respect myself. Yeah, I feel like brand new every time I walk out of here.
I love that I came to Bam's Kung Fu. If it wasn't for my dad, I probably would still be overweight and not happy.
Harder! Because the girl's not going to be hitting you on the street, the guy is. Harder!
When you hear the word the BAM, it goes beyond just the energy. It goes beyond just WMAC master. It goes to a great father. It goes to a loving husband. It goes to all those things, the things that I strive to one day be.
Go, punch! Scream it out. Scream!
He is just the embodiment of what a role model should be.
Don't you quit. Don't quit. Come on. Come on, Mr. Marvin. You know why I'm here.
I don't think they know how much they mean to me and Seth. Me as a single mom, he doesn't have a male to look up to in the household. And so when he comes home and he says, you know, Professor Bam told me I was a champion today.
Come on.
It means the world to me because he has someone that he can look up to every day when he comes into the school and say, I want to be a man just like that.
The memories that you make here are memories that will stay with you forever.